This here is Boom Studios Go-Go Power Rangers comic issue number 25. It begins with Tommy in touch with his Uncle Jack. He's hiding out at Uncle Jack's cabin after his departure from Kimberly and the other Power Rangers. It's obvious to Uncle Jack that Tommy is upset over a girl. Well, he's not wrong. Tommy kind of did break up with Kimberly, but obviously there is the issue of him losing the Green Ranger powers too. So, Tommy is staying at Uncle Jack's cabin, but the reason he called him is because he actually wants to join his uncle out in Hong Kong. According to Uncle Jack, Tommy always leaves home whenever his heart breaks. So Tommy must have pulled this sort of stunt before, after his relationships came to an end. Man, he's weak. Anyway, Uncle Jack says it's fine if it's okay with Tommy's mum. So Tommy was set to go to Hong Kong. What stopped him? Was it when he became the White Ranger? Back to the main focus now, and we see Jason is in pain as he experiences visions again of the fight with Lord Drakon. He snaps out of it though, and we see the emissary is with him. Jason is keen to crack on with assembling his secret spy team. The emissary says they could recruit the other Rangers, but Jason says no, because he doesn't want to put them through what he is going through. And they have an agreement too. The emissary must repower Tommy, and Jason must recruit new Rangers. The emissary tells him he has a solution, but it could change things and that Jason may no longer be the leader of the Power Rangers when done. Jason is fine with that. So here, it seems Jason was up for stepping down as leader so he could take up a new position and leave Tommy in charge of the Mighty Morphin team. That makes more sense than what we saw on TV. At the command center, Alpha and Zordon seem to be running a scan to locate Ninja. Zordon and Alpha search is interrupted as a voice calls out to Zordon, and it's none other than the emissary. Zordon says his presence is most unexpected. Considering the emissary said he wanted to keep this a secret from Zordon before, it's quite unexpected for us to see this happening as well. The emissary is impressed by Alpha 5 and he says maybe he should look into getting one for himself. That's probably why C is in the main comic, because the emissary saw how good a help Alpha 5 was. Zordon wants to find Ninja because he's the creator of the power coins. He's obviously looking for Ninja as Tommy's gone. The emissary tells Zordon that Ninja is not the only path at his disposal, and he offers Zordon an alternative and something more powerful. I think long-time fans can see where this is going. Next, we see something new. Lord Zed is sparring with Goldar. Zed eggs Goldar on and tells him to avenge his brother. For those of you who don't know, Goldar had a brother called Silverback. Goldar killed him on Zed's orders because Silverback thought Zed was weak. You'd only know this if you read Only the Strong from the 2016 annual. I didn't read it because the continuity in the annuals is questionable. But that seems to be what Zed is referring to. Anyway, Zed defeats Goldar in the sparring session. Zed then tells Finster to send putties down to Earth as a distraction, as he waits for his Sentinel to be unleashed. This places us in the white light part of Season 2 of the TV show. Sentinel is supposed to be a true warrior, and Goldar should learn something. Why is Zed encouraging Goldar to be stronger now all of a sudden? So the putties are now in Angel Grove Park and the Rangers are taking them on. During the fight, a putty appears to hit Jason on the back of his head, and he has another one of his shattered grid visions. This time it's of Serpentera chomping down on the Q-Rex. Zack and Trini see that Jason is experiencing some trouble, and go and help him out. They ask if he's alright, but he tells them a putty just landed a lucky punch, and he continues to fight alongside the Rangers. The battle is then over in a flash because the next page takes us straight to the command center, and it's empty, just like what happened in White Light of the TV show. It was weird for the Rangers in the TV series, and it's just as weird for the Rangers now in the comics. It's great how this is playing out in a similar way to White Light, but with these new elements from the comic storylines added to the mix. It really expands the story, so it's not just a remake, more like we see what was going on that we didn't actually get to see on TV. Anyway, there's no sign of Alpha and Zordon. Billy says he has an idea that might work, but before he could complete his sentence, Jason tells him to do whatever he needs to do. Next, we see something similar to what we saw on TV. and that's Tommy teleporting away differently compared to the Ranger's usual teleportation. Only here, we know why it was different. Alpha used this form of teleportation to locate Tommy and bring him back to the command center. Zordon tells Tommy that this is a secret mission that Lord Zed cannot learn of, and that they believe they can make Tommy a Ranger again. Obviously then, he's talking about making Tommy the White Ranger. The room they're currently in is one of many hidden chambers underneath the command center, constructed purely for power transfers. That's just like the TV show, but unlike the TV show, they need a power source. It is on a distant planet which Tommy must travel to alone. Upon his return, Tommy will be a Ranger, stronger, faster, and one that can never be compromised by evil. So the emissary's method of creating the White Ranger then is different from the one that we saw previously in the alternate universe where Lord Drakon rules supreme. Tommy has his doubts about this. He's still down after losing his Green Ranger powers, believing himself to be weak and unworthy. So Zordon asks him if he wants this moment to be an ending, as in stop being a Ranger for good, or if he wants this to be a new beginning, as in to become a new Ranger. With Tommy out of the picture, Kimberly and Matt seem to be getting close once again, as Kimberly texts him while she's out at the park. Can't say I blame her after what Tommy said to her. If I was dating someone and was suddenly told the relationship was only possible because of a common secret, like being a Power Ranger, I'd seriously be annoyed. Now we're at Promethea and we see Grace Sterling again. Just like the Power Rangers, we don't really get an explanation as to what happened after the events of Shattered Grid and Beyond the Grid. Grace is just back at Promethea, working. She is surprised Billy went to Promethea for help because she knows just how much Jason disliked working with her. So Billy was going to tell Jason he was going to Promethea, but Jason cut him off and said to do whatever it takes. And Billy did just that. Grace takes the opportunity to revisit the internship which Billy passed on before. She tells him there's always a place for him there. If Promethea ends up surviving all the way through to Zeo times, then maybe Billy will end up there rather than leaving Earth. Who knows at this stage? Grace shows a map of everything Alpha interacted with at the command center before disappearing. That's when both Grace and Billy spot the hidden room. At the actual command center, we see the emissary mocking Jason on the computer. This was a nice bit of humour to lighten the mood, as the emissary tells Jason that he'd seen a comet melt away in space and see civilizations rise and fall and rise again. But none of those took as long as it's taking Jason to work the command center computers. To be fair to Jason, the control panels at the command center aren't exactly intuitive like real-world operating systems like Windows or Android. Jason is frustrated that he can't remember the program that Billy showed him of how Alpha selected his team of Rangers. The emissary tries to calm him down and tells Jason that for the first time, the emissary is alone. So what happened to the other two emissaries? Or is he just saying that because he is alone in the sense that he stepped away from the other two for this mission? Whatever. The point is, the emissary just wants Jason to know that the emissary understands what Jason is going through. With his nerves calmed a bit, Jason tells the emissary they need to hurry so they can get out of the command center before someone catches them. But it's too late for that. Zack and Trini are already there and they want to know who the emissary is. Trini even thinks they did something to Zordon and Alpha. So overall, this was fairly enjoyable as we're onto the white light part of the TV series. And this is a pretty accurate remake of some of the events in those episodes, but with a few alterations that can explain the course of actions the show took, following the introduction of the White Ranger. I'm mostly curious now as to how Zack and Trini agreed to join Jason, and what Tommy's secret mission is.